So communion. We don't do communion very much at this church or at many Unitarian churches, and it's going to be a little different. So if all of your past communions just came back to haunt you, I want to let you relax a little bit. This is a Unitarian Universalist communion, and I hope that it feels welcoming to you. The ritual of breaking bread together, sharing wine or another drink, is ancient, and it's sacred in every culture. Another word for the sharing of sustenance is communion. Augustine, St. Augustine, liked the word communion because he thought it came from the roots com and unus, to come together as one or to be in unity. Sadly, however, our Ethiopian ancestor was incorrect. Communion has its roots in the word communis, participation in something shared, something common to all. And I personally never thought that I would get to correct the exegesis of Augustine of Ethiopia, and it feels real good. Communion is actually a part of our tradition and heritage as well, although it's been lost to or left out of many churches since at least the 1950s. King's Chapel in Boston is one of the most prominent. It is a Unitarian Universalist chapel that serves communion. It was founded in 1686 as an Anglican church, and it is a unique blend of Unitarian Universalism and Anglicanism. They have their own Book of Common Prayer. I'm fascinated by this. And they serve communion on the first Sunday of every month, and they do it every Wednesday night. It is part of our heritage, too.
In the spirit of reclaiming our traditions and spiritual heritage, but more importantly, to invoke the hospitality and nurture that we aspire to as a community, I invite your open-hearted and open-minded participation in this, a communion of thanks and care. We're going to pass some baskets around, and as they're passed, I would ask you to choose either a corn or a flour tortilla, and just hold it for now, because we're going to eat together in a minute or two.
Bread. It is some amount of some kind of ground grain, some amount of water or another liquid, a small pinch of salt usually. It can be leavened or unleavened, oven-baked, stone-baked, boiled, fried, both. Bread is universal. Bread is everywhere, across every continent and every culture. Bread has always existed in one shape or in one form or another. The idea of bread is also universal. We talk about breaking bread. The idea of nourishment and sustenance given or taken, shared freely or hoarded with greed. Bread symbolizes harvest and hospitality, gratitude and the good green earth. Bread symbolizes life itself.
The bread we share today consists of corn and flour tortillas, which were handmade just yesterday right here in Plano. The corn tortillas are gluten-free. Both options are vegan. Of course, you've already picked yours by now, so you have what you have. Corn and flour tortillas are very familiar and well-beloved to those of us who have been in Texas for a long time. There was a time when the two were not so familiar, though. Corn, maize, maza, is native to North and South America. It was a staple of the Inca and the Aztec nations, as valuable as gold when it came to expanding the empire and keeping the peace. Wheat held that place of honor for the Europeans who brought their own staples to the Americas. Our peoples mingled together with our foods, and we traded and expanded our definition of bread.
The interchange wasn't always innocent. As the civilizations collided, millions died. almost all on one side of the conflict, the side of the colonized, the conquered. Many perished of disease, others died by enslavement or violence. And just as we give thanks for the bread of life, figurative and literal, we acknowledge that life's irresistible joy can be intermingled with terrible pain. I invite you at this time to tear your bread, your tortilla, in half, and to hold the two hands in your halves in your hands and look at them. Look at the jagged edges and the torn fibers of the grain. What wells up for you in the broken places? Rumi tells us that these broken places are where the light comes in. Listen and allow a word or phrase to come to you that gives voice to some place of grief, some sorrow, a hurt that you may be feeling in this season. And you may speak this word or phrase aloud, or you may speak it into the listening silence of your heart. Today is Transgender Day of Remembrance, and I hold the lives yet thriving in gratitude and a sorrow for those who have been lost. We hold the sorrows that you have thought and felt together in the common embrace of this communion. At this time, you may eat your tortilla intentionally, tasting it with purpose and letting its texture and scent speak to you of the harvest. A death for the grains, yes, but energy and new life for others. For the knowledge of sorrow and the taste of communal kindness, we give thanks.
Although wine is the traditional communion beverage that most of us think of, or for some of us who grew up in Texas, grape juice, we know that just as breaking bread takes many forms, so does the drinking of a draught together. It could be tea that holds a sacred place for you, or beer. It could be chocolate, as it was for the Aztec culture where the Spanish encountered them.
I chose cider. I chose it for a couple of reasons. When the Europeans arrived, the only apples here were crab apples. And they are wonderful trees and very useful and great. But also, the fruit was small and hard and generally so tart that it was sour. And so the Europeans and later immigrants brought their own varietals that they crossbred and grafted with native trees to create the wide variety of delicious fruits that we know today. Amidst our bitter taste of sorrow, we know that life is also almost always sweet. With grace, with kindness, and with the gifts we create for one another. And so at this time, we will pass out the cider.
In this space, with our community gathered,
having given voice to grief and pain, let us notice now the larger forces that hold us. The earth, the largest body, that holds us with its gravity, sustains us with its plants, and gives us life. The floor, walls, and roof of this building, crafted with care from timber and stone. The ultimate mystery, the source and sustenance of all creation that some call God and others choose not to name, though all have access to great wonder and mystery. The abiding force of love that holds us and will never let us go. There is so much to be grateful for. So much love and care, passion and dedication present right here in this place. Our life together as a community is a blessing, and each of us makes a tapestry woven of experience and understandings for which we can be grateful. For what are we to give thanks? Listen in this silence.
This time, let a joy and a gratitude and happiness, let them come into your mind. And at this time, you might speak a phrase or word aloud to share your joy.
Great.
Music.
Family.
We lift these joys and the others still coming to us into this community and into the common embrace of this communion. And at this time, I invite you to drink your apple cider, intentionally tasting it with purpose. Be open to the sweet and the tart, the burgeoning taste of life within the burst of flavor on your tongue. With gratitude and with grief, with hope and with nourishment, bless these our bodies, consumed and consuming the bread and wine of life. Bless these our minds, exploring, opening, enduring, widening to new life and deeper love. Bless these our spirits, whole-hearted and broken-hearted, linking mind and body to mystery, to wisdom, and to thanksgiving. Bless us, and bless the world. Amen.
I appreciate this quiet moment after communion. Let's just sit with it for a second here. Feel gravity holding you firmly in its grasp. Feel the earth underneath your feet. Feel the air moving in and out of your body. Take a deep breath and feel it filling you up all the way down to your toes. And as you exhale, imagine that you are blowing out, along with carbon dioxide, any negative baggage, any grief, any stress, tiredness. Just exhale and feel it going out of your body like smoke. Take another deep breath and refill with clean, fresh, rejuvenating air. And once more, blow out that negative energy and let that darkness dissipate in our community. There is an elemental love in the universe by which name we know each other and encourage ourselves to live. There is a silver river that connects everything, from which some part of us never leaves. There is a mercy making its way up through the ocean of the earth to the shores of our feet. There is a music so sweet it is almost unbearable, that is composed between the ear and the heart, which reminds us. There is a diamond glint, a seed of longing in ourselves that recognizes the potential absence of gravity in another. There is a part of us that says it is never too late to be reborn on the in-breath each morning. I invite you now to join in a moment of silence, prayer, or meditation as you wish. And when the sound of the chime fades away, we enjoy a moment of silence. And then in the music that follows, if you wish, I invite you to rise and light a candle in our window in prayer, in memory, or in thanks.